Holy shit, Connor McDowell.
Who the is that? Is that Tom?
That's right. It's me, Tom from TSDTalks.
We haven't spoken to each other for a video in like 3 years, which is crazy.
That is.
But I'm gonna blame you for that.
Oh.
Guys, we got a special one today. I got a guest. We got Tom from TSDTalks, a freaking sicko, a psycho, really cool. I feel like those are the 3 words that I could use to describe you. I thought it might be fun to do a little Halloween video, maybe?
Boo! Ah! I got scared. I got scared a little bit that time. From you.
Haha.
You scared me a little bit.
Dang, I didn't even think I was that scary, but if you say so.
You gotta check in a mirror sometime, man.
I thought it would be a fun idea to have Tom and I read through some Halloween-themed Reddit stories.
That's right.
Why? Because this is my channel, and you can suck it.
I'm excited for this because while I'm not like a Redditor anymore, I do like Am I the Asshole stories and like Reddit stories in general because some of the most wild shit just gets put on these subreddits.
I don't use Reddit either, but I also love Am I the Asshole stories. All of the Reddit stories that we have are somewhat Halloween based. I don't know, maybe some of them are scary, maybe some of them are spooky, maybe some of them will give you tricks, maybe some of them will give you treats.
There's gonna be assholes and there are gonna be people who aren't assholes. And is that I?
That's so profound. I'm tearing up a little bit. That was good. You did good on that one.
I'm a poet. I'm a writer.
So it's time to dive into these Reddit stories like it's a pool full of pudding, because that sounds actually kind of delicious.
It does kind of sound delicious.
But first, what's up? My name is Connor McDowell, and I'm currently campaigning to be People Magazine's sexiest man alive for the year 2024. If you like this video, or you think I should be nominated, just click subscribe. 1 subscribe equals 1 vote for me to be super, super sexy on the cover of People Magazine. This is the one thing I want in life, so if you don't subscribe, it's basically gonna be like saying, Connor, I wish you were shot in the head. You should also follow me on Letterboxd because I'm really cool and really sexy, and if you follow me, you're really cool and really sexy too. Also, you should follow my Twitter because I'm one of the only sane people left on that platform. And all of Tom's social media, including his YouTube channel, are gonna be linked down in the description. And now, it's spooky Reddit time!
Am I the asshole for not wanting to help my wife with Halloween costumes?
I'm saying already yes. What do you mean? How hard is it to help somebody with a Halloween costume?
Let's hear him out.
You're right. I'm judging this guy too dang soon. You're right.
You never know. My wife, 29 female, always makes the kids Halloween costumes. We have 3 kids, 5-year-old girl, a 7-year-old boy, and a 9-year-old boy. She did not have an amazing childhood, and so I think she is constantly trying to make sure our kids do. She home makes every birthday cake, DIYs the birthday decorations, makes pajamas for every holiday, and always home makes the Halloween costumes.
Wait, did they say she makes pajamas?
Yeah, she makes pajamas and always home makes the Halloween costume.
So she makes pajamas for every holiday, and this guy is like, but I don't want to help with the Halloween costume.
Let's hear him out.
That's true. Maybe she wants to dress the kids up as a Q-tip, which my mom did do to me when I was a child.
She also does these theme monthly movie nights where she creates this whole scene. For example, this month was Coraline. She made custom dolls for each kid, welcome home cake, and the whole food spread. I'm so sorry. This is not well written.
So the guy's an idiot.
Yeah, I think so.
So we should be able to legally kill him.
This is all great, but the problem is she expects me to help. All our kids and activities, we both have full-time careers, and I believe she stretches herself thin trying to do all this, and also expects me to. We have the money to just go out and buy stuff, so I don't get why we have to do so much. She says these are the things the kids will remember. Anyway, this all came to a head as I've been out of town most of the month for work, so she's had to shoulder the full responsibility of the kids. This caused her to be behind on making the costumes, and she's stressed. She was asking me if I'd be able to create one of the costumes for her. She has the supplies and can walk me through. The problem is, I just don't feel like it. I told her we can go get a cheap costume. It's not a big deal. Well, she refused and was up all night finishing these costumes. I told her this morning that they looked awesome and she just rolled her eyes. Gee, I wonder why. She was making coffee and I asked if she'd make me a cup and she replied, go buy one. Okay, she's awesome. I love her.
Yo, what a queen.
She's been distant and cold. I was talking to my coworker and he called me out saying my wife is right. My kids will remember the effort my wife put in and they'll also remember how hard I made it for her. Now I'm feeling off, like maybe I am the asshole, but at the same time, I usually do help a bit. I was thinking this one time wouldn't be a big deal since we were both tired. So am I the asshole?
Imagine going to work the next day and saying to your coworker, yeah, my bitch wife was tired, but she wanted me to make the Halloween costumes and I told her to go fuck herself. And then just assuming the coworker's gonna be okay with that.
And she was up all night making the costumes, and she made coffee for herself because she was probably fucking sleep deprived. And then he was like, can I have a cup too? Maybe he should, like, if he's not gonna be spending time with his wife and kids, he should spend some time, like, learning to write, maybe.
Or learning to play Fortnite, you know? Like, well, this guy's wasting his time. He could become a streamer, dude. If he got really, really good at Fortnite. Like, fuck these kids. Fuck these kids. You could be a writer. You could be a pro Fortnite player. I think that's it. And you're wasting your time with a wife and kids? And she wants you to do things? Fucked up. No, not the asshole. I'm joking.
There is an update.
There's an update?
Okay, I'm the asshole. I'll apologize and see if she needs help with anything else. However, I'm positive half the parents commenting don't do these things and still think they're doing a great job. We are fine. We sat down and we talked and we laughed about how I'm getting shitted on all these social media platforms. We've carved pumpkins with the kids. We've been together since we were 16, have been married for 9 years.
This woman, since she was 16 years old, basically, has been taking care of this guy. She was making him pajamas and cooking him breakfast. And he's like, nah, dude, I'm not making a costume.
He was voted the asshole.
Yeah, I mean, of course he was voted the asshole. If anybody voted him not the asshole, I think that those people deserve to be shot in the street, like a dog.
I love how this story just kept going. Like, we knew he was an asshole from the title, but, like, he just kept digging his hole deeper and deeper.
No, but, like, how can you expect to tell Reddit or even your coworker, oh, my wife does all this stuff for us, and the one time she was tired and couldn't do the stuff, I told her that I'd rather kill myself than do it. Like, what?
Jesus.
Okay, so this one pisses me off.
Oh boy, I'm ready.
Am I the asshole for getting annoyed with parents who drive their kids to affluent neighborhoods on Halloween?
No.
These dang poor kids are invading my neighborhood, my gated community. Why do the poors get to come here to trick or treat? That's fucked up. Do you know why this one gets under my skin a little bit?
Did you do this as a kid?
Yeah, of course I did this. If I had a friend that lived in a neighborhood that was even a little bit richer than mine, which was every neighborhood except for mine, I would go to their house to trick or treat, because of course I'm gonna do that.
It's the one night of the year where you get to gawk at rich people instead of them gawking at you.
They're also probably gawking at you, though, if you know.
It's like mutual gawking.
Mutual gawking. Don't Google that. Don't Google that. Within the past year, my girlfriend moved in with me into my home in an affluent neighborhood. For the past few years, the neighbors and I have seen a growing amount of people come to our neighborhood for Halloween. This has caused a lot of people to turn off for Halloween, which you'd think would get the crowd to lessen, but it keeps growing. I was openly annoyed with this leading up to Halloween, and my girlfriend would condemn it every time I brought it up because Halloween's all about sharing, saying it shouldn't matter whether the kids are from the neighborhood or not.
And sharing is for poors.
Yeah, sharing's for poors. I think my favorite part so far is that the neighbors got mad that poor people were coming into their neighborhood, so they just canceled Halloween. So now all of the rich kids don't have Halloween in their neighborhood anymore. It's like they punished everybody else because poor people exist.
I like how the existence of poor people in this scenario kind of like made them go all Christmas with the cranks.
It's like knowing that poor people exist is disgusting, so I do understand where they're coming from. Just like knowing that's bad, but having to see them and having to give them my expensive candy? Absolutely not. She'd also point out that many of these children probably live in bad neighborhoods where it's not possible to trick or treat. Not surprisingly, this year at both entrances to the neighborhood, cars lined the streets, some with out-of-state plates. I live in a suburb of city, which is just over the state line. Okay, first of all, I live in New Jersey, and I see plates from all over the country. Like, people live here in New Jersey, and there are plates from Texas. Like, that doesn't mean that they don't live in the state.
Also, especially if you said you admit yourself that you're like on the state border, like it's not a big deal then.
His girlfriend brings up the point that some kids can't trick or treat in their own neighborhoods. So like that's like a good enough reason to let these other kids come to the neighborhood. Like I don't I don't see a problem with it. There can't be a complaint that it costs too much money. You live in an affluent neighborhood.
And of course they use the word affluent instead of just rich.
If the neighborhood is using words like affluent, they got the big chocolate bars. Am I the asshole for getting annoyed with parents who truck carloads full of kids to a neighborhood they don't live in? Yeah, just let kids trick or treat. Like, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
It's such an old man yells at cloud thing. Like, and again, they could have a point if like these kids were like causing like an actual disturbance, you know? Like if there was like too many people who were like causing property damage or whatever, like sure, then, you know, complain. These kids are participating in a holiday activity that everyone there is on board with. It's just so classist. So I've got another one here. Am I the asshole for dressing like a coworker for Halloween? So I had been working at a company for about 5 years. I made friends with one guy specifically. Let's call him Greg. Greg and I hung out quite a bit outside of work. He was on the company softball team with me, we had barbecues together, all that fun stuff. He had a shaved head, huge beard and mustache, and always wore those checkered Vans shoes to work. About 4 years ago, our company had a Halloween costume contest. The day before the party, I decided to go as Greg. So I went to a magic shop and got a legitimate fake beard and mustache, like the real hair ones. I shaved my head.
I'm so sorry. Shaved his head?
I just don't understand why I wouldn't get a bald cap.
Shaved his whole ass head?
Already you're committing to the bit too much. I bought the exact same Vans shoes that he always wears. So I show up to work the next day dressed as Greg, full beard, mustache, shaved head, shoes, everything. I'm not kidding, people were mistaking me for him all morning. Greg gets to work, sees me dressed as him, and people start talking to him about my costume. He awkwardly poses for a picture with me, then proceeds to immediately leave work and doesn't come back for the rest of the day. I won the costume contest. He didn't speak to me for 6 months after that. When we did start to talk, it wasn't the same as before. I could tell he had some resentment towards me. I left the company a couple years later and we still haven't spoken since I left. In his eyes, I was probably making fun of him and he didn't like the negative attention from our coworkers. In my eyes, I was simply trying to look like him and go unconventional with a costume. Am I the asshole?
I don't think necessarily what he did was wrong, but he's still an asshole for it. If you are coworkers with somebody and you don't know how they're gonna respond to a joke, then you probably just shouldn't make that joke. Like, you're coworkers. Like, that's first and foremost, you are coworkers. That relationship needs to come first. Like, if this isn't something that you've talked to him about before, talk to a mention. That's crazy. I didn't think that was gonna happen.
My favorite podcast.
If you aren't talking to him and asking him, like, would this be something that's okay? I feel like the costume could have been so much better if this guy dressed as Greg and Greg dressed as OP.
It kind of feels like it was meant to be kind of a prank on Greg when I think this is something that could have been more geared as being a prank on, like, the rest of the office.
No, exactly. I don't necessarily think the person had bad intentions when doing it, but like, you're still an asshole, man. It doesn't matter if you're trying to be malicious or not. My mind immediately goes to Jim and Dwight and how Jim dressed as Dwight the one time.
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually.
Jim specifically did that to make fun of Dwight, and it's also in a TV show. You know what I mean? I feel like shaving your head,
especially because like a lot of people are sensitive about their hair, and so maybe you don't know how he feels about being bald. Like, maybe he's ashamed of being bald.
It's just like that Bible story where a bunch of kids are making fun of a bald guy, and then I think God kills those children with a bear.
Is that real?
I'm pretty sure that's real. Get out of here, Baldy, they said. Get out of here, Baldy. He turned around, looked at them, and called down a curse on them in the name of the Lord. Then 2 bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the boys. That is straight from Bible.com.
42? I'm struck by the fact that baldy is a word that's in the Bible. Wild story. That guy was the asshole. Not as hard as the other 2 people, but like, come on, man. You can't do that.
Don't make fun of bald people or God will kill you. Here's one for all you animal lovers out there. You guys are gonna really love this one. Am I the asshole for causing a scene after I, 23 male, lost a costume contest to a dog? 3. They put the dog's age in the Reddit post. This guy has lived 20 years longer than this dog, and all of a sudden he doesn't get a prize for it?
It's true. I think not the asshole.
That doesn't seem like the America that I want to live in. I'm genuinely losing my mind here. So I love Halloween. I love making costumes and put a lot of effort into it. My friend hosted a big Halloween party at her place and said there would be a costume contest for who had the best Halloween costume under $50. Third and second place would win $25 and first place would win $50. Not a huge money prize, but enough to offset the price of the costume, and to me, it was more about the fun of the game. I wanted to win, so I pulled out all the stops and went as Zorro from One Piece, and only had to buy $40 worth of material. I got to the party, I saw other costumes, and there were some fierce competitors, but honestly, I think I had the best costume. I thought maybe it was too obscure to people who didn't know anything about anime, and that might not go well, but it was a good costume. When the winners were announced, I got second. This bummed me out kinda, but hey, I still did well, and again, if I had went with something more ubiquitous, maybe people would have got it. However, the issue arose when they announced first place. First place was a dog dressed like a pirate in one of those shitty Party City pirate costumes.
Okay, that does kind of sting. You made your own costume, and then someone in like a Party City costume won first place. That does kind of.
Not even someone in a Party City costume, a dog. If somebody had handcrafted like a beautiful costume for their dog, yeah, absolutely. They just bought a Party City costume and the dog won first place. I don't think the dog won first place for the costume. The dog won first place because they're a dog.
Yeah, that's the best costume.
Did we think about the fact that maybe this is a Shaggy Dog situation where like Tim Allen turned into the Shaggy Dog and is now dressed up as the pirate?
That's what I was gonna say. I would say, what if this isn't a dog in a costume? What if it's a guy dressed as a dog wearing a costume?
It wasn't a real dog. It was a guy in a dog costume dressed as a pirate. He said, "Oh man, I really want to go as a pirate now, but I already bought the dog costume." So if I had lost to another person, I wouldn't have cared. But I had had a few drinks in me and my inhibitions were lowered, and it was a fucking dog. So I out loud asked the host, "Really? The dog won?" But one is spelled wrong. It's spelled O-N-E. The dog won? No, the dog's 3. You put it in the title. Really, the dog won? And she was like, yes, and was gushing about how cute he looked. I said that it was a dog and it didn't have a say in what it was going as.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Specifically because the dog has no decision-making skills.
The dog can't win. What's it gonna do with the $50? It's a dog.
I told her that this didn't seem exactly fair. She told me to lighten up and that it was supposed to be fun. I told her that it's ridiculous she's about to give $50 prize to the owner for spending $20 on a cheap Walmart dog costume when me and whoever was in third place actually made our costumes. The dog doesn't even have thumbs. How could it make the costume? Why does he get to win if he doesn't have thumbs?
Honestly, I think so too. Because the dog didn't win because of the costume, it won because it's a dog. It's not like Air Bud where Air Bud played the game of basketball well.
He had the skills, he won the game. You can't just rig shit like this. That's what happened in the 2020 election, and that's how Biden got in. Like, it was rigged. This is something that should quite literally be illegal. She got mad that I called her ridiculous, and things kind of escalated into a full-blown argument that required my friend breaking us up. I was then kicked out of the party for embarrassing the host like that. So I don't think I'm the asshole because, like, obviously that's not fair. If it was a dog costume contest, but having a bunch of people compete and lose to someone's inbred bulldog is so fucking unfair. I think I was justified in saying what I said. People there said I should have just taken the 25 and called it a day. I would have been completely on this guy's side if he didn't just start yelling at the host of the party. I think I would have kept my mouth shut and then gone to Reddit the next day and been like, hey, look, isn't this bullshit?
That fucking turn at the end. Just that, like, heel pivot, this inbred bulldog. Okay, yeah, this guy's the asshole, I think. I think this is a case of this guy's the asshole, but the person who ran the costume is kind of stupid. If they weren't going to include pets in it, they should have had a pet costume contest or something like that. All right, the final one. Am I the asshole for making my daughter return a Halloween costume?
Was it offensive? Because I feel like that's a pretty good reason.
This happened in October, and my daughter is still acting cold and hardly speaking to me. My daughter, 16-year-old girl, works at an after-school job 5 days a week. Her high school had a costume contest for Halloween. My daughter and her friends planned a group costume to enter. She went with her friends after school to buy costumes. I picked her and her friends up from the store, and they showed me their costumes. My daughter spent $80 on hers. I was pissed. That's a lot of money to spend on something you're going to wear for a few hours. Very irresponsible use of money. I told her as much in the car, and I told her it was ridiculous. I dropped her friends off and took her back to the store to return the costume and accessories.
Okay, first of all, if this is Spirit Halloween, $80 for a full costume and accessories, not that bad. It's Spirit Halloween. Their prices are through the dang roof.
That's like an Art the Clown costume and like a Mjolnir. Her friends found someone else to take her place in the group, and they won the contest and a $100 Visa gift card to split. My daughter came home from school on Halloween upset. She claimed she had to sit and watch while her friends had fun, and she missed out on everything.
So I know exactly what's going to happen. The mom is going to say some bullshit of like, well, the prize money isn't equal to what you spent on the costume. But that's not the point, you know? Like, I just have a feeling that's where that's going. But that's not the point. It's to have fun with your friends at school, right?
I pointed out to her after splitting the gift card that it would be way less than she spent on the costume, and it was only a few hours, but she didn't want to listen to reason.
I am a god!
It was literally the next line. Now a month later, and she is still moody and mostly ignoring me. My ex-husband...
So it's a child of divorce and they don't get a good Halloween? This child, I'm rooting for this child to win everything.
My ex-husband told me I made her miss out, and she worked so much that she missed out on a lot of stuff with her friends, and I could let her have this. But at the end of the day, I saved her $80, just trying to teach my daughter how to be responsible with money. She could have gotten a cheap costume, especially since she would have only worn it for a few hours. Fuck you. It's her money. It's the daughter, she earned that. The way that you teach kids how to have money skills, because this is how my parents taught me. The way that you teach kids how to have money skills is that you give them like amount of money that's like not life ruining or anything. Like there's no consequences to losing all that money.
$50,000.
Give them that money and then let them spend it how they want to spend it, because then they feel the natural consequences of not having that money to spend, and then they learn to save up that money for things they care about. You don't just dictate. This is obviously something she fucking cared about, because it was a group costume with her friends, and at the end she said that her daughter didn't get to do that much because she was working so much. Probably because she wanted to save up for this fucking costume, you monster.
Of course, I think $80 for a Halloween costume is way too much money. Unfortunately, that is what it costs, right? There's like no going around that unless you maybe like make your own costume. If you're going to Spirit Halloween, that's probably what you're going to end up paying, maybe even more.
All this is doing is making her daughter resent her.
Maybe the assholes was the parents we made along the way.
Someone said, "You're the asshole," and with the OP's logic, I hope that her daughter never goes to a concert or to the cinema. So much money for a few hours fun. At least in this scenario, the daughter would still have the costume.
All right, well, those were our Halloween Reddit stories. What did we learn today? I think I learned don't drink and drive.
Sometimes people dress up as dogs to win costume contests.
You want to tell the audience where they can find you?
Hi, I have a channel called TSDTalks. Sometimes I upload videos to it.
Also, go follow Tom on Letterboxd.
I do that on Letterboxd. Then after this, later this week, there's going to be a video on this channel about Letterboxd.
Damn right there is. So that means, unfortunately, we gotta go. Bye.
Yeah, we do. Bye. Goodbye.